We've all heard stories where someone passes away suddenly and then the whole family then have no idea what to do. There's no will, there's no instructions, there's no access to accounts. And instead of just grieving, they have to deal with a lot of legal mess, paperwork, and delays. It's painful just having to listen to these stories, but not just that, if you actually have to watch anyone go through that, because you actually know that this could have been something that you could have planned way earlier in advance, right? So for me, in 2024, I have decided that I was going to do a big 21 km run in April 2025. So part of that run was me freaking out a little bit because I keep having that thought like, what if my heart can't take it? What if I'm just gonna collapse and, just pass on, right? So I've set out the whole of 2025, the start of 2025, to get my will going, to leave instructions for my loved ones. But we are already here in December and I have only just finalized and completed all that. And I think it's because I have a big trip coming up that it's going to have to put me on this long flight that I'm really afraid of. And I have another run that is coming up as well. And I think it's all these external conditions that I feel is totally out of my control, right? That is sort of making me start panicking in the last couple of months, because although I started my will early this year, but I never quite committed to getting it done. Hi, I'm Genevieve and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about something really, really morbid and perhaps an issue that I think every single one of us should take a little bit more seriously. On my channel, I talk about motherhood, midlife, and money. So today, obviously, this topic fits very nicely into the midlife category, right? So I have just turned 46 and I guess we never know when we're gonna drop dead and die and collapse, right? So better to plan this earlier than later. And I think if you have kids that are relying on you and you have parents as well, it's better late than never to get this going. So these are the two folders and I kind of have a plan to how I am going to organize this. I'm not quite clear exactly. I have digital copies, but at the same time, I bought these very professional looking files. I figured I should spend some money to put my will. So, well, the plan is there's going to be an envelope filled with the will and instructions and the other documents, together with some other items in a folder like this. And these will be the original copy that will be kept, right? I'm not sure what this other one is for. I'm thinking maybe it's for the backup, or I am going to use it to store my parents' documents. So I'm still figuring out the storing process of it. And trust me, when the thought of you possibly collapsing and dying, once that sort of gets into your head and hits you, right, you can't shake it off, So how I started the process was I began with my parents first. I know my parents have a will, but I know they don't have like a letter of instructions, or they call it like the letter of wishes, right? And I haven't seen their will ever. I'm not sure where it's kept even. So I had to start the conversation with my parents first. So my parents are in their late 70s. And so again, I wanted to make this conversation as casual as possible to not make them freak out. But at the same time, I also brought up the topic that I'm currently working on my will and I just want to help them get their process, making sure that they have all the paperwork. So I handled all their paperwork first. I got their letter of wishes, instructions. I found out where they kept all their things. One of the biggest thing, especially, is to get your health sorted, right? The lasting power of attorney is called the LPA. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but in Singapore, the very few things that Singapore government has got it going for us is mylegacy.sg. They created this vault, right, where you can put your personal documents, you can put your CPF nomination. Basically, you can put in everything, all the information that you want your loved ones to to have a preview of or easily access to. You can just upload the documents into this vault. Okay, think of it like a secure OneDrive. I'm not sure if it's secure, but it's just a vault. It's like your safe box, okay, to keep your instructions when you die. Okay, so what happens is you can nominate a few trusted people and so forth. But in it, what I wanted to get at is they have these two forms that I think is really important, which is the LPA, which is the lasting power of attorney. With the LPA, when somebody loses that mental capacity, the family can't really access anything. And can you imagine how big of a nightmare it becomes, right? These situations create so many unnecessary suffering, and these are all completely preventable. So the LPA forms the legal side of your care, okay? And the advanced care plan, which is the ACP, forms your instructions to your loved ones, okay? And both of it can be done on mylegacy.sg website itself. So if I have an advice for you, I would say go get that done first. Okay, that is the easiest to get done. With my parents, I spent an afternoon with them on Sunday. This is a couple of months ago, and getting all that sorted out. We have all gotten our LPA sorted as well, me included. So I feel really, really relieved, and I hope my parents feel relieved as well. With the LCP, sorry, not LCP, I'm getting really confused. With the ACP, Advanced Care Plan, there are a few questions on the website, right? They ask questions like, do you want to resuscitate? Do you want, what are the types of care you would like, So it is, they are not easy questions to answer, okay? But they are very necessary questions to answer, definitely. It's better to have that conversation with your parents right now, or to have that conversation with your spouse right now than for them to not know what your wishes are, when they have to make those decisions for you. I got to thinking as well, right, that all these planning for your death, perhaps, it is really what makes growing old and midlife all about, right? And because suddenly you are responsible for all these really quiet and serious things, things that people don't talk about, but yet every single one of us will die at some point, right? You can't leave things to chance. You don't want to, at the same time, put stress on your loved ones. So it is really all about being responsible and planning ahead. For me, it is a form of love. And I hope my loved ones know that, me planning and doing this is to allow them to have an easier time if I leave suddenly, especially. And the biggest thing for me is that we live in a digital age, right, where we are trying all to be very protected from scams, right? But at the same time, we're also locked out of our own lives if something happens, because everything is online. All our money, all our bills, all our insurance, all our password, investment, they are all behind a vault, a cloud, somewhere, right? And I literally have passwords to protect passwords, right? We have 2FAs, we have OTPs, right? It's endless. So can you imagine if your loved ones have to access even as simple as your email, but you have OTP that is in a dongle, or you have another app that is giving you 2FA, your loved ones might not know where to go for what, right? So they are gonna be locked out. Although we are really scared of being hacked, right? I am also really scared that my family isn't able to access anything. And for me, I kind of manage a lot of digital assets and passwords and all for my family. So it's not just me now, right? I am afraid that if something happens to me, my parents, my husband, my child, my brother, they all can't access different things. So very, very strangely, it is not my death that I'm afraid of, but I don't want to leave the people that I love behind confused and scared and not know what to do. It takes a little bit of time to sort of think through how you want to do this, but I think most importantly, you got to let somebody else, right, know where you are keeping this, because when you're not here or you're unable to communicate that instructions to your loved ones, they got to know where they can locate whatever that you have hid or hide or store. So the most important thing is once you get all this sorted out, make sure that a trusted person knows where they can locate this. I think maybe that's the most basic and first instructions that you need to do. So yeah, tell somebody else where you keep this. I want clarity for the people I love. I don't want to leave them problems. And if anything happens to me, I want everything to be simple, to be there. Instructions are stated as it is. And for any parts where I want them to make a decision for me, it is stated there that I trust them to make those decisions, right? These are very uncomfortable things to face right now, to even talk about it. But once you start, yes, it's going to be a very long process. It took me months, right? But once you get going, you chip away a little every other day, you get to feel a little freer. It's a little bit like my budgeting app where I feel a little bit freer whenever I budget, right, and put money away. So this, in essence, doing the will and the instructions and the funeral wishes and the LPA, it all allows you to live a little bit more presently, not worry about the future. And I think this is the side of growing old and midlife that nobody talks about, right? This is the kind of responsibility that we should all be thinking about. So I hope that with this video, you guys will take away something from it, that if you've been procrastinating and this is something that it has been at the top of your head and you've been wanting to do it, I would say, start really, really soon. You don't have to finish things right away, right? Just have a document started. Maybe go check out mylegacy.sg first and fill out and do the easy things. That's how I started. I did all the easy things first. So if you've been procrastinating this, take it as a sign to start, because I promise you, when you actually get done, you will feel a whole load of mental weight off your shoulders, off your head. You don't have to finish everything quickly, right? But do the simple things first. Maybe for those in Singapore, go visit mylegacy.sg. For those who live everywhere, anywhere else, do the small things first, right? Maybe do your LPA first, start on your will and your letter of wishes, and then maybe start compiling your instructions for digital assets. Use ChatGPT to help you. There is actually a lot of online resources that I used as well. There are templates for will all around, so you can just pick anyone and adapt it, right? So every little step you take is going to make you feel better, and give yourself a deadline, right? So because for me, I have a big trip coming, I have another run coming, I'm afraid that something bad is gonna happen to me. So I have that deadline. Okay, I just needed to know that I get done by that time. So maybe give yourself a deadline. That is going to help. And make sure that you talk to people all around you, your loved ones. Figure out who is going to be your executor, who is going to be your trustee if you need any, who's going to be your witnesses for your will, who's going to be your trusted people, your your lasting power of attorney, who do you trust? And maybe you can start by starting these conversations with those people first, and then start doing your instructions and your will and your LPA down on paper. And then I think you can go on to 2026 feeling like, at least you got it started. That's all I have for you today, and thank you for hanging out with me. And I really have to tell you that this perhaps is the most important video content, right? Go get your will done, go get your LPA done, because you never know when you're gonna drop dead and die.